Hello, hello, hello. Come chill chat. What's up? Well, today, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get into the Kyrie Irving situation. We're gonna be talking basketball. Okay. Those who came in yesterday, you got to listen to part two of the Boule lecture, and that was pretty cool. Hope you guys liked it. But today is gonna be a little bit different, right? And it's gonna be pretty fun. I think it's gonna be entertaining to a degree. Alright. So, like I said, we briefly went into Kyrie yesterday. Didn't really get all the way in there. Just talked a little bit about it. So today we'll get into the interview that he did on ESPN, which, like I said yesterday, it was just pretty much, it was a cowardly act. It was like he was a politician. It was like a political type move that Kyrie was playing. And we're gonna also talk about this culture of social media and pretty much what it breeds. This passive aggressive behavior. Now, if you're on my friend list, I kind of wrote some things about that, and I'll go into it. Okay. I'll talk about setting an example and how social media and text messaging, things of that nature, have supported a passive aggressive behavior. Right? And it's cowardly. It allows people to hide behind these digital devices and really messes up forms of communication. But it's very cowardly. It changes people's way of problem solving. Like, in turn, people don't know how to problem solve because they don't understand how to communicate. And it's kind of some of the stuff I wrote. I'm not gonna read it off, but if you understand what passive aggressive is, it's more like a sneaky, like a sneak attack, like a sneaky way to be aggressive, but you have this plausible deniability to say you really wasn't trying to be aggressive. Okay, so that's kind of what passive aggressive is. It gives you that wiggle room to deny shit, which is cowardly. Okay, and that's about as much I'm gonna go when it comes to what on that. Like I said, if you go on my page, you will see it's a slew of stuff that was written about it. It really wasn't that much stuff I said. It was just a few things, really, but it's pretty good, pretty insightful. I go into the fact that we live in the information age, but because we have pretty much been dumbed down to a degree, we don't know how to use the information constructively in a way where it can help us. And that's a sad state of affairs. I mean, it just really is. Also, this passive aggressive behavior, which our state promotes cowardice, even when we get into the incident with the young lady, and I really haven't not wanted to touch on it. So I'm not gonna really go into it, but it's just kind of weird. Just that whole situation with the girl being found in the freezer and things of that. I don't know. That's just been weird. It feels real eerie to me. That's why I have not talked about it. Not something I really want to get into, so I'm not really going to get into it. So, but we will get into this Kyrie Irving. Now, yesterday when I talked about it, I just gave you an overview. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to play some clips from a couple of shows. I'm going to play one from a show that comes on ESPN, and then I got another one that comes on Fox. And it's funny because rarely do these two type of shows agree with each other. But in this situation, they do. And we'll see why. Most of it because of what I just stated. This new internet, digital age of people that are passive, aggressive cowards. They don't know how to express themselves. I mean, seriously, they just don't. They use these social media. They use Twitter. It's only a few amount of characters you can use, and you got all these other social media apps and ways of connection that can allow you to just, at the click of a wrist, say, hey, I defriend you, or I ignore you, or whatever the case may be. You never really had to talk about issues. You never really had to discuss your position. And so therefore you don't, which means you don't develop that type of communication. Like I said, that's very important, especially when we start talking about problem solving, especially when we start talking about being in the age of information. What good is it if we have all this information, but we can't communicate with each other, but we can't work out differences because people are scared to talk, or scared or too cowardly just to say something face to face, It's funny because in the 90s, we had this whole thing called keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real. And it was something that I think people kind of jokingly, we meant it, but I think more lately people kind of, go back and kind of joke about it a little bit. But when you start observing the behavior of the people nowadays, you can't do that anymore. You got to start saying, wait a minute, maybe we need this sense of being real. Maybe we need to really reintroduce that into what we're doing. And in a sense of this, it's really about accountability. It's really about being accountable for your actions. When you say something, you mean it. Okay? You don't say shit that you don't mean. Why? Because that shit can get you in trouble. You become accountable for what you say, or you have to back something up, or you have to support something once you speak on something, or you don't speak on it at all. Okay? And back then, it used to be a way of checks and balances. If you say something out of line, somebody will be there to put you back in line. And, you get checked. And a lot of people act like they want to be in that but they don't really know much about that. They don't want to be in that type of environment, because that type of environment doesn't include all of these social media ways to hide. Okay, literally, people could literally duck and hide on social media, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People have problems with each other. Instead of talking about it like adults, they just avoid all kind of weird type of shit, and it's a passive aggressive behavior. And like I said, if you're on my Facebook page, then you can go down and you can see I kind of go more in depth on that. I break down the psychology of that, you know, just so you guys can really get a fully understanding of what passive aggressiveness is and how it is cowardly, and hopefully learn to change that. Okay, but the same goes for with that incident. You know, it's the culture that we're living under, and it's the society that we currently live in that allows situations like that to occur. Okay, to where, you know, we don't know if the girl was set up. We don't know pretty much anything really about how everything transpired, how she really got from I guess they're in a hotel party, from that point into a freezer. Okay. And like, even with surveillance cameras, it's all kind of theories that's coming up, and it's wild, man. It's crazy and it's sad. And like I said, I'm not gonna really touch on that, because for some odd reason it doesn't feel right to me. Something feels eerie. But I want to play this song. And this is an old song. This is when you hear it, I actually talked about this when we went into females and rap. And we went into MC Light. 10% this. Now, I want you to kind of listen to what she says. Dope style taker, tell it to your face that you ain't nothing but a faker. That is pretty much the epitome of what people do not do nowadays. People are still a beat, people are still a line, people will borrow a flow, but they'll never bring it up, they'll never address it, you know. And it's just funny that song came to mind, because I remember being a kid when I first heard that diss song. I was like, wow. You know, for one, it's a female, and she just coming off raw. And, you know, when you hear the whole thing, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but if you check that out, you'll see. But we're going to go into this whole Kyrie Irving situation, man. And a part of me feels a little upset because of how I have to approach it. I have to approach it this way because of the truth. Okay, and I'll break everything down as I usually do, but the way I'm going to approach it, it has to be done this way. I cannot do it any other way because it wouldn't be right. Okay. So, the first show we'll go on to is First Things First. Now, I like this show. Chris Carter.
It's been a minute since we saw the NBA. Kyrie Irving opened up in a way few pro athletes ever do in a revealing interview on Monday. In a sit-down with ESPN, Irving admits he didn't speak to LeBron when he asked for a trade from Cleveland, saying, quote, "Why would I have to?" Here's more now from Kyrie Irving.
I don't think that I know the person in terms of figuring out what you would do with your life. It's not anything personal. I'm not here to tirade anybody. I'm not here to go at any particular person or the organization because I have nothing but love for anybody.
So, Nick, they want me to ask you, you have a problem with these comments, and yet, I guess my question is, how big of a problem do you have with these guys?
What he said, this went on for about 18 minutes, and you cannot find a 40-second clip that doesn't have a head-scratching moment.
Right.
There's the clip we played where he says, in life you don't owe anything to anyone. That's not how life works. Like,
I'm gonna stop that right there. Exactly. Now, Kyrie is about, I think he's 25 now, 25, 26 years old, right? And he's at a transition stage. You know, those of you who are older than that, you kind of start seeing stuff differently, right? You start making more critical decisions. Your way of thinking should start to become more mature. Now, being in this society that we live in, which breeds a passive, aggressive, cowardly type individuals with lack of ability to really express themselves, we get the type of answers that you're going to hear Kyrie Irving give. Okay, it's sad, but true. Now, yes, he doesn't have to say anything. No, to LeBron. No one says you have to, right? But as your teammate, as somebody you supposedly you had a great relationship with, you might want to kind of have that conversation with him, you know. Let's see what he said.
that's just not how human societies work. So, like, literally, you've got to this spot in your life with no assistance. Well, that obviously not. And it's, I mean, literally since we evolved from hunter-gatherer tribes to greater societal groups, like, it is an interpersonal relationship that helps you grow. So that doesn't make sense. Kyrie, the quote we didn't play that you read, where he was asked why he didn't tell LeBron, and his response is, "Why would I even have to?" Kyrie talks a lot in this interview about being a grown-up, evolving into the man he wants to be. And you know how much I like Kyrie Irving. The biggest, I have a 19-year-old son. One of the biggest indicators of transitioning from childhood or youth to grown-up adulthood is when you realize life is not about what you have to do as often as it is about what you should do.
Exactly. I'm gonna stop right there. That's a great point. He states that life, you start to understand, it's not necessarily about what you have to do, it's more about what you should do. Okay? For instance, if you're in a situation and say you have a friend in need, now, if you can't help that friend, right, whether it's, I don't know, maybe they need a ride somewhere, or maybe they need some money, or maybe they just need someone to talk to, whatever the case may be. If you are for sure you can do that, then speak on that and do that. If for any reason you're not sure that you're able to fulfill any type of obligation that has not been asked upon you, do not volunteer to get involved. Okay? Because what happens is nowadays people have no word. They have nothing. There's nothing honorable about society today. It's nothing honorable. It's very, very cowardly. And they use these devices to do that. People know that, hey, the chances of you coming across me is slim and none. So some people just blatantly disrespect you, like call you out your name and threaten to kill you, all kind of nonsense, when they know good and well they're not going to do that. They're not even that type of person. But they'll say this because you have this internet, this digital protection, right? People will front and say, no, we have a friendship, strong bond. You know, back in the day, friends with people, you see each other, you talk to each other day in, day out, you know, and you've tested them, you know. Well, nowadays, when you create friends now through a digital medium, things are different. You don't physically, you know, be in the same place with them, but you find ways to get that camaraderie, and you supposedly build this friendship that, you know, you think is legit. And then they can just say, I defriend you. And just like that, you no longer exist. It's dehumanizing. Okay? And that's what happened. And people have got more and more comfortable being that type of person. And that's a very big problem. Very big problem. And when you start to hear some of the stuff that Kyrie Irving says, then you get a real understanding on what today's culture is. Check it out.
No, Kyrie Irving does not have to say anything to LeBron James. And if I decided tomorrow to quit this television show to go become a professional poker player, I wouldn't have to tell either one of you guys. But it would be the wrong thing to do not to. And when Kyrie in the interview says, Stephen A. asks him, you know people are going to think that this is a shot or that this shows something that LeBron's going to take this a certain way. Kyrie says, yeah. And then he's asked, do you care? And he says, no. That is not who Kyrie has represented himself and who he's represented that relationship to be.
Now stop right there. Exactly. That's that passive aggressive bullshit. Okay? Meanwhile, while him and LeBron is in the same place, same time, you're talking about how great this person is, right? He's the king, and you're in awe of him, and all these good things. But then you get that little bit of distance. Now, you're dismissive of him as a person, period. Who LeBron? Who? Like he doesn't even exist anymore. And more every day, people are becoming more and more that type of people. And I'm telling you, you know, you have to be very careful. You will find yourself being that type of individual when you get caught up in social media and texting on the phone because you can't talk and all that type of shit. You find yourself being sucked in to this passive aggressive mentality, and it's bullshit, and it's cowardly. People cannot express themselves properly. People are not man or woman enough to say, hey, yo, I got a conflict, let's talk this out. I don't want to deal with you, let's talk this out. You understand what I'm saying? They'll just, well, I'll just defriend him or her or block him or her off of every app that we used to talk on, and by that way I'm showing that I don't want to be connected with this person. When this person says something funny, I'm not gonna put a smiley face on that. You know, this is the shit that people do nowadays. It's disgusting. It's like, are you fucking serious? I can't even explain to you the amount of annoyance that I get even thinking about that type of shit. It's very, very annoying.
The entire thing was puzzling. I don't know why Kyrie did the interview. He didn't seem interested in actually answering the questions. And I have no better insight on why he wanted out of Cleveland today than I did yesterday.
See, my question to you, as someone who's been in the spotlight and who's been asked a million different times, a million different ways, by a million different reporters, and part of your job is either to answer questions you want to answer or not questions, and you probably got really good, especially at the end of your career, at deflecting things you didn't want to talk about. This was a topic that, for as much as we wanted to hear what he said, I can't understand why he would do it. Why now? Why the way he did it? The fashion he did it? The lackluster effort he did it in? The lackluster energy he used to do it? Explain to me, could you try to even step into his shoes for a second to figure out why the timing was that he felt he needed to say what he needed to say when he needed to say it?
Well, first things first, he has the right to be able to decide what's the best for his career.
Correct.
He might have had some kind of indicator that from Cleveland, LeBron might not be there. Or some other reason. The owner, other people in the organization, he might not have had the support. So he has that right. He forced the trade. He's in Boston now. Now he says that in some other interviews and everything, he wants to play in the pick and roll. He wants to become more of a complete player. Okay, you have that right. Now, I remember when we drafted Randy. Randy Moss called me on the phone draft day. So I've heard that you're one of the best ever, and I want you to mentor me. I want you to help me out. I said, okay, no problem. So I call your agent. I want you to buy a house or a condo in Boca Raton. You have to move here, because that's where we train. And once you do that, I'll get you to the next step. The next week, his agent, they processed it. Randy was in South Florida. He was, anything you tell me to do, I'll do. And to me, that's a lot like Kyrie was when LeBron decided to come back. All right?
I don't know for sure, but I don't even think Kyrie really embraced being, we'll use the word, mentored by LeBron James. I really don't think he really took that and said, yo, I'm going to let LeBron mentor me. You know, I don't think Kyrie did that. I don't. I really don't. We're gonna see, because if he did, then we should see a completely different player when it comes to him actually being the team leader, actually helping other players become better players. We're going to be able to see if he has been able to take on that role and what did he learn under that role if he decided to do that. We don't know if he decided to do that or not. We're going to see. It's going to be pretty interesting to see that.
Not the player he is today than he was 3 years ago when LeBron came back. So LeBron helped him develop on and off the field. I know people who know Kyrie, and he has gone through stretches of his life where he's been very, very immature. And LeBron, besides his dad, has been one of the most influential people in seeing him develop on and off the court. So how do you not tell him to make a decision?
Exactly. Randy Moss came and he talked to him like an adult. You know, me personally, like, here's the type of person I am. And you'll get the whole gist of it. I feel like I am ultra intelligent, right? I feel like I'm smart. There's no one smarter than me, and I can debate better than anybody. Just the things that I feel about myself. But I'm also insecure, very insecure. I also feel the need to validate myself through other people. So, in turn, a person like me that would come across a passive-aggressive person of today, and I'll be easily a person that they could pretty much manipulate. Why? Well, number one, I'm looking for friendship, right? So I will cater to that. I will allow that behavior to coexist in a friendship only because of my own insecurities. You see what I'm saying? So you understand, for every part of cockiness and you think you're all that, well, there's a flip side to that, to where you might think the exact opposite. And we all have that, and we're all trying to balance that. Just very few of us are able to really find it and examine it and work it out. That's what happens.
And he told me what he wanted to do. That's a part of this. Because you said in the beginning, Kyrie has the right. Of course he has the right. Yes. No one is denying he has the right. The question now is why he did it, why he wanted to execute that right, and why he went about it the way he did. And he also said in this interview, he had been wanting out of Cleveland well before the offseason. He said that he felt as a professional, he didn't want it good for him. He didn't want it to distract from the season, so he kept it in. So he knew for a while he wanted out. But to me, he's very disingenuous throughout the interview. Now, so you're...
Exactly. Which is what I was stating yesterday. It's like a politician. He's being disingenuous throughout the whole interview. He comes off like pretty much an asshole.
saying after they won, after he hits the shot, that's what he said, between that day and yesterday, or the end of the finals, let's go to the end of the finals. There was times in there that he didn't want to be a goal, but that's what makes it more disingenuous is, and this is one of the downsides I guess being a pro athlete, is we have all this video of him, like he can play the video during the Eastern Conference Finals. May of this year, when he, according to his own words, already wants out. Here's what he says about LeBron. When you get to that level of trust, and you allow someone to come into, a friendship that extends well off the court, and you understand how great this era can be if we are selfless to the point where we don't think about anything else except for the greatness of our team and what we've accomplished.
What does he get from not talking to LeBron? What does he gain from not saying
You
anything?
said at the beginning it was petty. Of course it's petty. It's petty, juvenile, and childish. And it also, at some point, he's lying. Either he...
Listen. Let's get this understand clear. If you, as an adult, have an issue with another adult, right? You are two both civilized human beings, right? Call that person, talk to them. If you don't want to talk, you have text each other, talk, state your side, and let that person state their side, and then you come to a conclusion. That conclusion could be, hey, maybe we're no longer friends, or whatever the case may be. It could be a lot of misconfusion, a lot of misunderstanding going on. But if no dialogue happens, we cannot find out what's really going on. As an adult, this is how you're supposed to conduct yourself. Not like this. This is how children, and not just all children, immature children, cowardly children act. Check it out.
Yesterday, when he's saying he knew he wanted out during the season, or at that podium, that was during the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, well, maybe it was what happened during the finals, losing 4 out of 5 to Golden State. Well, here's Kyrie. The day they lost the finals, after the last game, here's what he says about the group. You stand your ground too, with a leader like that. You don't take a step back. You move to the front line with a guy like that, and you want to bring your game up to another level. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, because I know that if we continue to be with one another and keep utilizing one another, man, the sky's the limit. There is a narrative out there that
Such hypocritical, man. Such a phony person. The fucking, he's like, oh, well, I know if we stick together and continue to work together, then, the sky's the limit. Really? And then right after that, you go crying and moaning, talking about you want to trade? For what? It's I'm telling you, man, people gotta wake up. They have to wake up. They have to start understanding this stuff is, this passive aggressive behavior is nonsense, and it's cowardly, and do not subject you or your children to that. You shouldn't. Don't let that stuff become a part of the type of person you are. Don't become that type of person. Trust me. No truth, no good comes out of that.
What happened was Kyrie heard LeBron wanted him traded. I never believed that, and Kyrie dispelled it yesterday when he said he was feeling this way before the playoffs even started. We know how he says he felt during the Eastern Conference Finals and right after the finals. Like right now, if you were to tell me there's 2 Kyries, one with a beard and one without a beard, with 2 different personalities, that makes as much sense as anything I can think of.
Does he become the NBA's villain now?
No.
Right now, in your mind, is Kevin Durant still holding that spot?
Oh, I know. I think it's Durant. I think he becomes, but I think people are very interested in watching LeBron catch one. Yes, I just think people look at Kyrie just a little bit different. And it doesn't make sense from so many perspectives. It doesn't make sense. I still don't understand how confused I was yesterday.
Clearly to be continued.
Exactly. And like I said yesterday, we talked over it basketball wise. How it made no sense for Cleveland as a franchise. It made no sense when it comes to Kyrie as an individual player. But now we're going deeper into it, and this is more and more going into a society issue. It's this passive aggressive behavior. And to further go into that, we're gonna go to another interview that speaks on Kyrie. Alright. And you guys gonna like this one.
So obviously you watched this as an innocent bystander,
Right.
and every.
Okay, right off the bat. Now we're gonna go to the first take set. Now, if you guys saw the interview yesterday, you saw how Kyrie responded to a lot of questions that Max was throwing at him. You saw how he just pretty much had a very, very, he had a really, his whole demeanor was just off, I don't know if that's supposed to exude confidence or what, but to me it exudes assholeness. That's what it exudes. Let me tell you something. I still like Kyrie as a basketball player. He's still got the nastiest handles in the game right now. Until I see something otherwise. I'm not gonna take that away. But this type of shit right here, man, this is how you lose fans. Check it out.
Everything that went down, what was your reaction to his appearance?
Well, first of all, awesome get. Nice job. It was amazing television, and I respect the fact that Kyrie opened himself up to this forum, opened himself up to these questions from both of you guys and Molly as well. You know, I don't consider my job in any sense, in fact, I don't want to slam anyone. It's just not what I want to do, but it's not my job also to hope these guys like me, that I try to encourage friendship on these programs.
Yeah.
Well, I've failed if that's the case with you, right? No, it's my job to tell the truth. And the fact of the matter is, the truth of the matter is that Kyrie Irving yesterday brought out a wheelbarrow full of BS, took out a shovel and threw it on this table and expected you three to eat it up with a smile. He condescendingly looked at all of you, especially you, Max, and suggested somehow he's above questioning. The last clip he played said, just respect his decision as a man. No. What we do is analyze, sometimes criticize, and try our best to understand a pseudo-philosophical, cryptic, dodging demeanor that he brought out here to evade every single tough question. Set aside that he considers himself apparently some kind of philosopher king that can weave word salads around every question you guys asked. He contradicted himself within a matter of multiple questions. Stephen A., at one point you asked him, he said, it was so hurtful that he was on his China trip and his trade request comes out, and you pressed and you said, hurtful why? From who? And he said, who cares?
Like, what is that? Like, you understand? You're the one who brought the shit up. What are you talking about? Who cares? It hurt you, obviously. This is what motherfuckers. People, check yourself. Like, you remember on Juice, he said, check yourself, Q. Check yourself. People gotta check themselves. Think about the shit you saying. Think about your behavior. You know, in the early 2000, they had that thing called bitch assness. That had, like, that shit is creeping up. A lot of people is falling into a lot of that bitch assness mentality. A lot of motherfuckers. You know, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I never have got it. You know, I've never had a problem with talking to a person and saying, yo, hey, if I'm not good with you, let me know. Cause I'm gonna let you know. And then you move from there. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh man, I'm not fucking with dude no more. And then I don't say nothing to him. And then, you know, I say like, what's up? And be like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm not gonna be super. I'm not gonna say what's up like I used to. I'm gonna give you one word answer. This is the type of shit that people do. Yo, if it's a fucking problem, you see a person you got a problem with, hey yo, let me holler at you. Talk about the issue. Obviously, maybe you feel disrespected or something had happened. You address it. You talk about it. You move past it. If it's a situation where you think it's like, yo, I don't think I can continue to be friends with you. Okay, cool. Now that other person knows that. There's no need for this passive, aggressive, cowardly bullshit to go on. It's stupid and it's unnecessary. But this society continues to breed these type of people because motherfuckers do not get checked. They're not held accountable. Okay? Myself personally, I ain't gonna get into it, but, you know, I have a personal situation very, very similar. It's like this passive aggressive bullshit. It's like, yo, what the fuck is the deal? You don't. There's no need to beat around the bush. You know, fuck. Sometimes people, like to say face or whatever they call it. But if you're neglecting a person, what's the difference from saying fuck you to that person or spitting in their face? There's not really much of a difference. It's just now you're not man or woman enough to at least tell that person why. You understand? So that's your bad, not that person's bad. And that's why, I wanted to go over this whole Kyrie Irving and this whole society thing that we got going on. Let's continue.
Are you kidding me?
You care, you're hurt.
Yeah, you care, Kyrie. That's what's very clear here. But yet you look down your nose with half-closed eyes and act like somehow you spun some philosophy to us. He talked about being a team player, and it's bigger than one man.
What's up?
And yet at the same time says, no, I didn't have to tell LeBron anything. I mean, many people point out LeBron didn't do that for Dwayne Wade. So what? Two wrongs make a right? Consistently, Kyrie contradicted himself. And the truth of the matter is this. There was more insight and there was more honesty, Max, in his anger towards you than anything else in that entire interview. The fact that he's so mad at you, Max, I think reveals everything that's motivating Kyrie. He clearly has heard your criticism of him. By the way, he knows what second banana means. Another condescending, absurd...
I don't know, Will. Do you think he does? He thinks the world is flat.
He knows.
The earth is flat. Are you sure he knows what second banana
I
is?
do. I'm pretty sure he knows, Max.
He claims he didn't know what second... He claims he's made two claims. That the earth is not round and that he doesn't know what second banana is. I'm just stating facts.
You're right, and I'm not here to slam Kyrie, so I'm going to leave the earth is flat thing. I'm just calling the truth the way it is. He knows what second banana is, Max, and that's his motivation for leaving LeBron. The truth of the matter is, he's heard people like you call him a second banana. He's heard people like you... You call him an ISO player, one-dimensional, and he's tired of it. And maybe that's legit. Maybe he wants to perfect his personal craft to be a more well-rounded player, and he thinks that he can carry Boston to a championship. But don't sit here and...
Okay. Like I said yesterday when we discussed this, we've seen this before. It's who his character is. He gets into it with whoever the number one or two option on his team with him. So, I don't know. Is he gonna become that system point guard that Hayward definitely needs in order to thrive? Or is he gonna continue to be this ISO 1-4 spread type point guard? I don't know. But I can tell you this. After he did those interviews yesterday, everybody can clearly see how full of shit he is. Everybody can clearly see how much of a coward he clearly is. There's no reason to try to sound tough. They say I don't have to. No one said you have to talk to LeBron or ask LeBron. No one said you have to. But you should have. You should have talked to him. Period. So, at what point in the season or in the finals did you just say, you know what, it's over, I don't want to be here no more anyway? Actually, I want to go to that team that we just beat. Because I would like to know that. Because he kind of hints to that statement and said, well, I kind of knew I wanted to go play with Boston. Like, he already knew he wanted to go play with Boston. Kyrie didn't have no choice in this matter. See, this is unasked for information. It's showing their hand now. And when I mean their hand, I mean the league.
Evade you, Stephen A., and condescend to you, Max, about trying to understand simple questions about whether or not you wanted to get away from LeBron. State your legit, honest reasons. If you're mad at people like Max Kellerman and your career desire is to prove them wrong, then just lay it out there. Well, be honest.
One of the condescending things he said, I felt, was if you're a basketball enthusiast, there are deeper things than this. He wants to be a point guard, the way your talents are used, etc. And I was at first defending him because I was a huge Kyrie fan, thought he was underrated. Watching him closely
because I thought he is the equivalent of Westbrook or Harden or any one of those guys. You and I had debates where you defended him, and I said I'd take Isaiah Thomas over Kyrie. Right. You were his defender.
I still would take Isaiah over.
LeBron James assesses a crew of guys and figures out how to optimize their chances to win, and he felt probably correctly, I would assume correctly, that Kyrie would best serve the team a lot off ball a lot of the times, and with LeBron on ball, and Kyrie went along with it. Good for him, and Kyrie, I thought, pointed that out. So I do think it's a.
So situation goes. Kyrie shoots the ball more than LeBron, so attempts can go down. He holds the ball more than LeBron, so his usage can go down. He had more turnovers than LeBron. Sound like he was the team's leader. And in spite of his lack of leadership, they still made it to the finals. Why? Mainly because they had other good players like Kevin Love, like LeBron James, Fry, Cal Coker, those veterans that know how to pull out games. I don't know. Let's finish this up.
Primary ball handler, he'll become overrated because he'll put up enormous numbers, but he's a tremendous talent. I've given him credit for that. He doesn't play defense a lot of the time. I've also pointed that out. Here's what I think happened yesterday.
Madison
we
started
decide
him big time.
in the media, and fans have decided that we decide what should be important to the player. And what we've decided is winning championships. That should be important. There are some mitigating factors at times. If you leave the team you're on to win a championship, sometimes we don't like that. But certainly, if you leave your team, it should only be in pursuit of a championship. You shouldn't leave your team for quote-unquote selfish reasons. So think about this. Kyrie is sitting there thinking, I want to maximize my potential as a player in my career and my own happiness as a person, and I feel I can do that somewhere else. And I asked him, yes, but doesn't that in fact diminish your chances of winning a championship? And he cannot answer that question.
And you know why he cannot and will not answer that question? Because you are absolutely 100% right. Yes, it minimizes his ability to go to the championship. It is a selfish move. Period. There's no other way of looking at it. It is a selfish move. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. You can't deny it.
Because if he says, yes, I care more about my own personal.
I hate when that happens.
So obviously you watched this as an innocent bystander,
Right.
and everything that went down. What was your reaction to his appearance?
Well, first of all, awesome kid. Nice. You asked him. He said it was so hurtful that he was on his China trip and his trade request comes out, and you pressed and you said, hurtful why? From who? And he said, who cares? Are you kidding me?
You care, you're hurt.
Yeah, you care, Kyrie. That's what's very clear here. But yet you look down your nose with half-closed eyes and act like somehow you spun some philosophy to us. He talked about being a team player, and it's bigger than one man. And yet at the same time says, no, I didn't have to tell LeBron anything. I mean, many people point out LeBron didn't do that for Dwayne Wade. So what? Two wrongs make a right? Consistently, Kyrie contradicted himself. And the truth of the matter is this. There was more insight and there was more honesty, Max, in his anger towards you than anything else in that entire interview. The fact that he's so mad at you, Max, I think reveals everything that's motivating Kyrie. He clearly has heard your criticism of him. By the way, he knows what second banana means. Another condescending, absurd... I don't know, Will. Do you think he does? He thinks the world is flat. He knows the earth is flat. Are you sure he knows what second banana means? I do. I'm pretty sure he knows, Max. He claims he didn't know what second... He claims he's made two claims. That the earth is not round and that he doesn't know what second banana means. I'm just stating facts. You're right, and I'm not here to slam Kyrie, so I'm going to leave the earth is flat thing. I'm just calling the truth the way it is. He knows what second banana is, Max. And
Okay. far as this Earth flat thing, there's opinions and opinions and opinions on that. So, you know, where do you stand on the Earth is flat? I stand on the ground. Man, I'm ready to talk about the Mandela effect. Let's finish this up.
That's his motivation for leaving LeBron. The truth of the matter is, he's heard people like you call him a second banana. He's heard people like you call him an ISO player, one-dimensional, and he's tired of it. And maybe that's legit. Maybe he wants to perfect his personal craft to be a more well-rounded player, and he thinks that he can carry Boston to a championship. But don't sit here and evade you, Stephen A., and condescend to you, Max, about trying to understand simple questions about whether or not you wanted to get away from LeBron. State your legit, honest reasons. If you're mad at people like Max Kellerman and your career desire is to prove them wrong, then just lay it out there. Well,
exactly. If you got a problem with a person, if you got their phone number, call them. If they're your Facebook friend, inbox them. Text message them. Let them know. Be an adult. Talk. That's what adults do. What adults don't do, right, mature adults, is not have a conversation at all. I'll just ignore you. Period. And I'll be done with you. I hate that type of shit. I hate those type of people because they're fucking cowards.
Be honest. One of the condescending things he said, I felt, was if you're a basketball enthusiast, you know there are deeper things than this. He wants to be a point guard, the way your talents are used, etc. And I was at first defending him because I was a huge Kyrie fan, thought he was underrated. Watching him closely in the playoffs, I started to come around a little bit, think maybe I had slightly overrated him. Because I thought he was the equivalent of Westbrook or Harden or any one of those guys. You and I had debates where you defended him and I said I'd take Isaiah Thomas over Kyrie. Right. You were a defender. Right, because LeBron James assesses a crew of guys and figures out how to optimize their chances to win, and he felt probably correctly, I would assume correctly, that Kyrie would best serve the team a lot of the time with LeBron on ball. And you know, and Kyrie went along with it. Good for him. And Kyrie, I thought, pointed that out. So I do think as the primary ball handler, he'll become overrated because he'll put up enormous numbers, but he's a tremendous talent. I've given him credit for that. He doesn't play defense a lot of the time. I've also pointed that out. Here's what I think happened yesterday. We decide as in the media, and fans have decided, that we decide what should be important to the player. And what we've decided is winning championships. That should be important. There are some mitigating factors at times. If you leave the team you're on to win a championship, sometimes we don't like that. But certainly, if you leave your team, it should only be in pursuit of a championship. You shouldn't leave your team for quote-unquote selfish reasons. So think about this. Kyrie is sitting there thinking, I want to maximize my potential as a player in my career and my own happiness as a person, and I feel I can do that somewhere else. And I asked him, yes, but doesn't that in fact diminish your chances of winning a championship? And he cannot answer that question, because if he says, yes, I care more about my own personal happiness and seeing how great a basketball player I can be, we're all going to kill him. The whole media is going to get on him.
Right.
And the alternative is to say, look, I had a personal issue with LeBron James, and I don't want to talk about it. But I suppose, and I tried to give him that out, but I suppose that if he says that and that's true, people will hound him till the end of time to disclose the details of that beef. So I suppose that's what happened, and that's why he answered the way he did, cryptically, passive-aggressively, and not to the point.
Well, that's pretty much the end of that. I thought it was pretty interesting. We touched on it yesterday. We got to hear both different shows and listen. Like I said, it's kind of funny because when I woke up this morning, I was just in this whole zone where, you know how sometimes you just get into a place where you have an attitude about yourself, and you just, you're kind of aggressive. You just feel like saying certain things or writing shit or whatever the case may be. And I felt like that, so I was in that type of place. So in turn, that's what it is. Both things, and I posted some things on my wall, and it's just talking about these exact issues, this passive aggressiveness mentality that I think is bred by the rise of social media and things like text messaging, where people, they don't have to be accountable for their actions. They don't have to talk. They can just don't like. That's it. You could be a friend one day, next minute you say, oh, I can just delete that person. Oh, I can just ignore that person. It really becomes an unhumane type of behavior, because you're relegating people to likes and don't likes. And more society is becoming that type of people. Now, if that's the type of society you guys want to live in, so be it. Me personally, I don't want that. I don't want that. I've tried it. I've tried talking to people straight, right? I've tried talking to people creatively. Still straight, but creatively. I've tried numerous different ways, but the one thing that I've always been consistent of is where I'm at, where I stand. If I tell somebody this is where I'm at, this is what I'm about, that's what I am. And there's no way around that. That just is what it is. And all I do is expect the same. And a person like Kyrie Irving, in this situation, should be ashamed of himself. Cleveland didn't even have to trade him, and he shouldn't have. That was a bad move. But we continue to see this type of behavior go on in society. We continue to see that. Okay. And like I said, same
Peace,
thing.
fam. What I'm about to show you right here is it's a pre-recording. I pre-recorded before I'm doing this. So let's get started. This is just the beginning. I'm going to get into some good stuff. So just bear with me. Let me get the little stuff that we already know out the way. It's going to be brief.
Fake,
so
real pretenders. I like that. Yeah.
You have never seen a watch. You just a woman. How can you get it out?
Now there she go, Kanika talking to Monifa, telling her, there's somebody at the door. Right?
Kanika. Like I said, this whole situation kind of scares me. It's very eerie. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know. I've heard people throw out the harvesting body parts, and I've heard so many different types of conclusions with that. I just didn't want to touch it. Yeah, Kim, we just finished up talking about Kyrie Irving and his interview that he did, and just how cowardly he sounds, man. It just, I don't know, man. I think we got to start going back to making people accountable for their actions. People got to, they got to keep it real. They got to, if they say something, they got to mean it, and they got to stand by that. Yeah, we just finished up with it, but I don't know if you saw his interviews that he did on ESPN, where he pretty much just handled it like he was a politician. You know, he wouldn't answer a question. There's really no reason for him to do the interview other than to try to clean up the move. You know, but a part of that, we also just addressed that passive aggressive behavior that goes on in this internet culture. You know, and here's a clear sign of that, where him and LeBron, they have no issues whatsoever, and you can't talk to him like an adult. You know, even in a situation where you're in control of your own destiny, you can't even come and talk to another person. And more, I'm seeing people lack that communication skill. People tend to lie more, people tend not to be able to express themselves more, and that's just where we at right now. You know, but it was some interesting takes on it. We got the clip from First Take. You can check it out. It was on there. Will Kane's take on it, and we got that clip from First Things First, also the show with Chris Carter. So I used those two, and you know, brought it in, my own commentary with it. It was cool. It was cool. So you can check it out. See what you think about it. But like I said, man, if anybody got any input, you know, man, feel free. Any ideas on certain topics, anything you want to hit on, you know, hey, I'm willing to put it out there. If you guys set up a conversation or a forum, let me know. I'll go in the forum and talk, chat, you know, and discuss things. Because one thing we do have to learn to do is, and I stated this in something I wrote on my page today, you know, it's no way that we're living in an age of information, but yet we're at a time where we can't communicate effectively to use that information now for it to help. And that's a shame. And that's I wrote that on my page. I'm like, it makes no sense. We live in an information age, but now they have dumbed us down to the point where we don't know how to even effectively communicate to use that information for our own benefit. It's like a bad joke. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So that's the world we live in, dog. I don't know. But definitely you gotta go to that keep it real mentality, man, and to the point where if somebody say something, they just gotta be able to be accountable for their actions. Accountability is number one. And when Kyrie Irving goes out and talks and says all type of outlandish shit that don't make sense, you know, because it holds no weight. He says, I don't have a problem with LeBron. Okay. Well, I wanted to be more of an offensive player. Okay, but you didn't want to untie and lose offense in pick and roll. Well, I want to take more shots. Okay, well, you shot the most shots in Cleveland. Well, I want to have the ball in my hand more. Well, you did have a higher usage rate than LeBron. So it's like every logical thing that you could come with is easily shot down, you know. But it's not entirely Kyrie's fault, and that's why I'm going to end this on. It's not entirely Kyrie's fault. What we got to understand is he's just a part of the show. This is why they didn't prep him right, okay? They didn't. I suspect that last minute they kind of said, okay, let's do this deal, because other than that, the offseason was kind of lackluster, you know. We had Paul George move, we had Chris Paul move, but it still wasn't generating enough attention, you know. So the NBA likes to generate attention year round. So the next step came, you know, hey, well, the Kyrie Irving trade. let's get into it. And here we have us in September, and he's doing that BS interview that really serves him no good at all. But what does it do? It puts the league out there. Okay, so it's just continuing to keep the league talked about, especially during football seasons. Is going to be tough. So that has a lot to do with this. But make no mistake, like I told you, Derrick Rose. Last year, I think he averaged 16 or 18 points. If anybody got the stats, put them up. Something close to that. Somewhere like 4 assists and 4 rebounds. Well, when he was the MVP, I believe his average was 25 or 26 points. So that's not that far off. Okay? So if Derrick Rose can be healthy and get us that 18 points, get us that 4 or 5 assists, give us that scrappy defense that he likes to play, right? Then Cleveland should be okay. Now, here's the issue. You still got to get rid of Isaiah. You still got. There's no need to keep Isaiah. If another team wants him, you get rid of him. Period. The problem is they're gonna want to attach that draft pick to Isaiah, and that's fine. We can do that if we're getting value. Because I took damaged goods already. Okay, so now with Isaiah, if I'm trading for, if I'm the GM, I say, okay, you know what? I'll trade Isaiah with the pick. Maybe give me Anthony. Give me Boogie Cousins, or what's the other kid? The other dude that he plays on the Pelicans. Anthony Davis. We can do that. We can do that. I give you Isaiah and that draft pick for one of those guys. More so Davis, for Anthony Davis. I'll do that. That give us a legit big man who can shoot the 3 and guard the wing. So, you know, he can go out there and guard Kevin Durant, no problem. He got inches on him anyway. Boom. That means who's gonna match up with LeBron? Now we have a problem. You see what I'm saying? So if they can make Isaiah, if he can sustain some value in that pick, just keep his value, because it's unprotected. But my thing is, people are not looking at the moves that Brooklyn has made in the offseason themselves, so they have a great chance of sneaking into the playoffs, which totally messes up that draft pick. Okay, totally messes it up. So that's huge. So if I'm Cleveland, do I want to risk this? No, I don't. I say, you got Damian Lillard, I'll take him. Here's a pick in that. We can do that. I'll take Damian Lillard for that. I'll take John Wall for that. You know, let's do something. I'll even take Davis. I'll take Anthony Davis for that. Would I take Cousins? Maybe. Because I got Rose running my point. Okay? And then you got Crowder, who can play tough defense on the wing. You still keep Shepard, who's another defender on the wing. You got your shooters. So you're still pretty much in pocket. So, and plus you got LeBron. And what LeBron's job is going to be pretty fun, because all he's going to do is survey the court and then see whatever he's going to do, just pick people apart. But it's going to be interesting to see Kyrie. But glad we got that out. Like I said, all y'all out there with that passive aggressive, that coward, change that shit up. Stop being cowards, and stop hiding behind this internet shit and fucking text messaging and shit like that. You got a problem? Talk. Communicate. The fuck you get all these communication devices for, but don't communicate? No, you get that to be cowardly and to hide behind. Don't let technology hinder you. Okay? It's dumbing you down. you're losing the skill set. Okay, stop doing that. All right, so yeah, we just doing the sports thing earlier, and I'm gonna do one more show later on some more serious stuff. You know, I'll do that, and that's pretty much it. I gotta take my nap. I just did my therapy, took my bath, so I'm probably gonna go to sleep for a couple of hours. So that's pretty much it. Peace out. Love y'all. Thanks again, family, for coming.